What's up, community? It's just Jeremy here for another episode of We Try to Be Homesteaders. I'm not sure what a professional homesteader is, but we ain't it. But what we are is a bridge, maybe, for people who are trying to figure out if this is something that they want to do, or which I highly recommend, even if you don't think that you are. Everyone should try living in the wilderness for at least a year before you go back to your grid. But anyway, I see a lot of questions on a lot of different forums and a lot of different Facebook groups about what you should do as for a toilet system. Should we do a septic? Should we do composting? Should we do this or that? We went through the humanure handbook, which I will put as a link below in the comment section. It's a free PDF. I highly recommend that one to anyone that's just thinking a little bit about it. It'll give you a really good explanation of why you don't want to use a septic system, because when you do use a septic system and it rains a lot, like it does here in the deep south where we are in the winter especially, we get a lot of rain. That system overflows when it gets a lot of rainwater, and so then it gets into the groundwater. And if you have a well or anything along those lines, this is a really deep well, and even then, well, you're recycling stuff in a way that's actually not cool. So we decided to go composting. And we did not always live in the cabin. We actually started this whole adventure out in an old coach bus. And we did not put a bathroom system in the bus, so it was sort of a forced learning. And really, the way we did it then isn't a hell of a lot different than how we do it now. But I'm going to start this whole little journey. We actually have an outdoor bathroom too, as you see behind me. And we're going to take a little walk over there and check that out. It's made out of cob, and my wife did this in, I think like in about a 2-week period. It's super duper cool. I'm so proud of her for doing this. We have another much larger scale cob project that's going on, but this one kind of gives people an idea of what you can do. And the material for this was literally dug from the home site here. We have almost perfect cob consistency for soil, which makes for awesome building, not awesome gardening. But as you can see, the Lori sculpted a lot of this stuff, and well, she sculpted all of it. But the material is, if you're not familiar with cob, it's sand, clay, water, and straw. Once you get your consistency right, it hardens like it's like concrete. So in the roof, she did out of Japanese bamboo. We have a friend fairly nearby who has a bamboo forest on his property, and he doesn't love it, but it makes for really awesome material. But I'll give you guys I'll show you how the inside works. You open the door here, and presto, you see a rain barrel that's cut in half. And then the pit is about 5 or 6 feet deep under it. And there's still some work to do in here. The plaster is, she just started that last year, and it'll be finished that way. As you can see, give you a 360 of now you've gone to the bathroom with me. Isn't that awesome? It's kind of weird. So the way that we do this is we also use this in a composting manner. Even though it's dug in the ground, we don't leave it. We'll use it until it gets about halfway up the barrel, which is it's about 3 months or so, depending if we have big party or whatever. And the material that we use to cover it is right here. This is mulched wood. It's we had our property logged off 8 years ago, and the tops of the trees, when they cut the logs to take them out, they leave the tops in a big, nasty, ugly ass pile. And it took well, it took about 8 years. And they finally have broken down into something really awesome. And this stuff is really nice mulch. And we use it for a lot of different things because there's a massive bit of it. But it works really awesome for a composting toilet system. We started trying to use earth, and because our dirt here is heavy clay, well, you got it wet with other business, and it got really heavy. This mulch is really absorbent, and even though the humanure handbook recommends not going pee in your bucket, well, tell that to your kids. I have 2 girls and a little boy, and sometimes they just don't. It doesn't work out that way. But even in that being the case, the buckets do not get offensive. I mean, every now and then, if one goes a little longer, we try to get them out of there in no more than a day and a half at the longest. Whether they're full or not, you don't want to fill your bucket up. You just don't. Generally, the buckets come out when they're and we're using this with a household of 6 people, 5 of whom are actually using the bathroom. So, I mean, it gets used. But I'll show you how the bathroom works. This is the bathroom, very artistic. The solar setup is for a small light. We call it our backup lights. It has its little independent battery system that has 3 LED lights that we use. We are not solar fully yet. We have all of our panels. That'll be another video. We've learned the hard way, because that's how we learn. We learned the hard way about solar and batteries and all the fun crap that goes along with it, and how really it's not very green, people. Batteries are definitely not green, and they don't last as long, but I digress. Anyway, the way that this works is we have a little latch door here. The side opens up. You can get right in here and service the bathroom. The toilet is just a box that the bucket, pop the top up, the bucket fits right in, has a nice hole that was cut, right to it. That's it. That's your action. When you flush the toilet, it really is a nice clean bucket of mulch here. You take the mulch, you cover up your business, and that's it. It's over. And if it's a really ugly number, then we have a sage smudge, and we also have incense. But honestly, it's not all that necessary if you cover everything appropriately. So that's how that setup works. I'll show you the actual compost site, so you can kind of get an idea of like where you go with it. We take it. Sorry, didn't mean to spin you around here. We take it back here behind our magic privacy screen, so as not to offend visitors. Although I think there's other things that are far more offensive than this. So, here is the privacy fence. Behind that, you will see the compost boxes. The compost box here on my left is one that is full. And we use kind of like a lasagna layer, where you put green matter on the bottom, then you put your waste matter, and then we put a brown matter, leaves. We have bagged leaves back here in the background, as you can see. Or straw will work also. I like to use hay. We have a lot of hay around for our goats. The hay works for the green layer. But the key is really just to separate. You don't want a big pile of crap in there, and especially now that we're using the wood mulch, it composts really nice. this layer here, when I covered it up, I poured water on. I got it pretty wet, and then we have to cover it because otherwise our chickens will get in there. That's gross. Free range chickens. That's a good idea in theory, not necessarily in practice. We'll definitely do a video about free range chickens. But this bucket here, or this bin here, and it takes. I'll let this sit for as long as it takes to fill this. It'll be a good 6 or 8 months before this, because as it rains, even when this looks full, it'll rain and then everything will sink quite a bit. We use the compost in flower beds. We're not brave enough to use it in other applications, especially food producing ones. I don't know. There's mixed reviews on people who do that. We are not fully plant-based in our diet yet, although we eat very clean. I don't know that I'm ready to start using it in my garden or anything along those lines. So anyway, it does make a really awesome composting or compost, though. The roses really love it. So yeah, that's how we do the compost. And these are my buckets. The clean buckets stay here. When we dump them in there upside down, as you can see, there is a empty bucket in there now, or a bucket emptying. That way all of the wet matter drains, and when you pull the bucket off of it, it's really not that offensive at all. And even in the summer, which here gets really hot, like in the 90s often, well, almost daily from July to August, it really is not all that. You get a lot of really good composting bugs, and things break down really quickly, especially in the summer. Now we're in the fall here, so it's perfect. I love this. It's lovely weather, and then it lasts for months and months. But anyway, that's how we do the composting toilet setup here. It's really not all that difficult. It is weird if you're conventionally minded, and we are always like freaking out friends and family when they come over and they want to use the bathroom. Although we've been doing this long enough now that it doesn't like freak out too many people. It's like when we have visitors, which we have a lot. So that's how we do poo on a homestead. I hope that this was helpful. And if you have any questions or anything, please put them in the comment section below. Please like this video and share it if you like it and it was helpful. I would love suggestions on anything that you would like to see in the future or more of. We're new at this, so the video quality is, not awesome yet, but it will improve as we go along with time and get better and have better equipment. So thank you guys for watching, and have a great afternoon.